So Sony has finally announced a first party or second party, whatever it is, a third party deal. We can go back and forth between all of this. It seems like every other day there's an argument over what is a first party, what is a second party, even though second party really doesn't exist. And then, of course, third party deals are essentially first party exclusives for a little while. They identify a game with a brand. Take Tomb Raider, for instance. Tomb Raider now is everywhere, but everyone thinks Tomb Raider in PlayStation, even though originally it launched first on the Dreamcast. But when it comes to games like Death Stranding, this has been announced, Death Stranding 2 for the PlayStation 5, and now it's an exclusive title for a time period. We know it's going to come to other platforms because the original did as a shadow drop for like $20. It was insane and looks fantastic on the Xbox Series X. But popularity and the idea of what you like versus what the majority of people have decided to use, does that affect you? Because I feel like that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. When it comes to Xbox, now, just let me give you an analogy here. I know people, myself included as one of those people, that love the original Xbox, the OG Xbox. Now, that console was absolutely a failure in terms of what it was competing against, but I still really loved it and enjoyed it, and so did a lot of people that I know. And then we get to the Xbox 360, and everyone loved that console, right? Minus the red ring of death. But a lot of people use the Xbox 360 over the PlayStation 3, partly because of the year difference in launch. The next generation starts when we say it does, nonsense from Sony. But eventually, the PlayStation 3 caught up on the back of creating exclusive first-party titles. So the Xbox I loved, the original Xbox, so did a lot of people, and it was an abysmal failure. The Xbox 360 I went with because I liked the original Xbox, not because it was a sales success, and it did very, very well. Had de facto exclusives because it launched a year early and had some of its own really great first-party exclusive titles. And then we go to the Xbox One, and of course, I said, yeah, I'm going to get an Xbox One. Why not? The Xbox 360 was great. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the original Xbox. It's never really been about if other people are purchasing it, because if it was, I wouldn't have loved the original Xbox or really the Xbox 360, because the PlayStation 3 eventually won in terms of total sales. So the Xbox One, TV, we know what happened there. I'm not going to rehash that. But for the first 6 months to a year, the Xbox One had better games than the PlayStation did. Absolutely, positively had better games. And people were sort of just waiting for the PlayStation 4 because of the, I don't know if it was just the management issues at Xbox at the time or the messaging issues, but it was terrible. And here we are now in the Xbox Series generation versus a strong PlayStation 4 leading into a PlayStation 5 and a really strong PlayStation 5. But my point is, and the reason why I wanted to lay all this out is, does the popularity of something affect you when it comes to using something that you love? So for instance, I enjoy my Series X. I really do. I play it primarily. Now I have a PlayStation 5. Absolutely love that. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart completely blew me away. I love, believe it or not, Knack 2, which wasn't on the PlayStation 5, was a PlayStation 4 port. I love games like that, and PlayStation usually has those type of games and has a wealth of different genres for people to play. But it doesn't change the fact that I really enjoy the Series X. Now, no one's buying it, and there's the constant reminder that no one's buying it. There's the constant news articles. There's the constant posts from people online. I mean, if you go online, there is almost zero positivity when it comes to the Xbox. And does that affect you? Were you an Xbox fan and you just decided, well, no one's buying this and it doesn't feel good playing it, even though I like it, so let me go with the thing that everyone is buying? I believe that that does have an impact on people, whether or not you believe it or not. And I can tell you why I believe that. Because it has an impact on me. I'm a human. You're a human listening to this video. So of course it has to have an impact. Now, I've heard people say, well, the more popular platform means the more support from third parties. So you're putting yourself in a better position to get more games, different genres, more experiences if you buy a PlayStation over an Xbox. And okay, I could see that, but I feel like we're at a point now where any strength, any benefit of using an Xbox is sort of just swept away, not even discussed, in favor of the more popular brand PlayStation. I want to be clear, PlayStation is popular because they earned it. They absolutely earned the right to be the de facto choice for people when they're choosing PlayStation or Xbox. They've done the work over the years. They may not have done the work this generation yet, but they've done the work over the years to be that brand. But I do feel like if you're playing something and you're enjoying it, like for instance, take Game Pass, for instance. I don't see how Game Pass is this horrendous thing. Now, I don't like subscription service. I get the idea that they could possibly degrade an industry. You look at what something like Spotify has done to music, and maybe you can apply it to video games. I'm not sure, but I do feel like there's an extreme benefit for people in using that ecosystem versus saying, here's a bunch of games, so you're going to pay $70 for them, but our users can pay a small fee up front and access those games in addition to other games. So you take the 4 games that famously Xbox that are coming to PlayStation, you're going to spend over $300 plus tax to purchase all of those games. Maybe you're a collector, maybe you like buying physical products, that's fine. But in a market, when you put out there, you can buy these games that you're excited to play for $300, or you could subscribe to Game Pass for $20 and play all of these games plus a whole lot of other games in that service. I really struggle to find the negative in that and sort of put a tax on Xbox because of that. Now, I'm not saying that subscription services should be the de facto, but I do want differences between products. I don't want to buy the same product. I don't want a PlayStation to be an Xbox or an Xbox to be a PlayStation. What would be the point of spending all of that money to have those systems under my television? There has to be a differentiator. Now you say exclusive titles. PlayStation exclusive titles is the differentiator. And I agree with that. But I also agree that Game Pass is a differentiator for Xbox. And that's where I don't understand this constant negativity, the constant push for negativity when it comes to Xbox. So let's get back to that popular versus not popular sentiment and how it affects people. I really do believe that the popularity of PlayStation, it's in the consciousness of almost everybody who plays video games, and the constant negativity when it comes to Xbox. Now, this negativity is manufactured, but some of it is warranted. I want to be clear here. This isn't an Xbox defense of everything video. There are absolutely problems at Xbox. There are absolutely situations that Xbox and the leadership created themselves that are a detriment to the brand. But I do feel like it's almost like an industry in and of itself when it comes to grifting and getting a ton of attention and views and subscribers, and Xbox and negativity. It is its own industry now. And I feel like if you really enjoy video games, if you're really a fan of video games, then it isn't very healthy to drag an industry down. Xbox and the leadership are making mistakes, and they are dragging themselves down for the most part, but not everything is negative. And when I see people who are in love with Xbox, they loved Xbox when it was absolutely terrible. The original Xbox launched and sold almost nothing, competed against the PlayStation 2, and people love the OG Xbox. But now, when Xbox is in a better position in terms of generating revenue, right? Not console sales, but it's a much better position than it was in with the original Xbox. Those same people absolutely hate the brand. It just doesn't make sense to me. If you're so passionate about something, super passionate, and then years later you absolutely hate it, there has to be more to it than, well, they just didn't deliver what I wanted. Because you can find stuff that's really good on Xbox if you're a huge Xbox fan. I just don't see it. So let me stress, I'm not saying that people aren't allowed to change their minds. I'm not saying that there are Xbox fans out there who tried the PlayStation, absolutely love the controller, the UI, and the exclusive games, and have decided to spend the majority of their time and money on the PlayStation. I'm talking about people who have made a living off of grifting about the negatives when it comes to Xbox, but those same people were in love with Xbox when it was the worst it ever was. So I found a great example of this. I have a nephew and he plays on the PlayStation 5. He only plays Fortnite and NBA. That's all he plays. He has no idea what Death Stranding is. He has no idea what God of War is. He just does not care. And when I asked him what made you purchase a PlayStation 5, his answer was everyone else had one. Now, I want to stress, guys, I'm not saying that you like the PlayStation for some reasons that aren't valid. What I'm saying is there are many layers to this when it comes to how popularity affects people. And I just thought about this sort of off the cuff, and I was wondering, are you somebody who absolutely loves Xbox, but the constant negativity, the sales data, all of these drivers towards the negative, has that affected your enjoyment of Xbox? And have you decided to just not turn the Xbox on and maybe purchase a PlayStation 5 or start using the PlayStation 5 more because of it? I'd be interested to know how much of the sort of control of a market and minds that PlayStation has, that they've earned, right? That they've earned. I don't want to be like, PlayStation doesn't deserve this. How much of that affects people who really, really have always loved Xbox? So I'd be interested to know if you're one of those people. I'd be interested to know what you think about this and this idea of popularity and how it drives people's purchasing decisions. Let me know in the comments section below. This is Death Stranding 2. Looks amazing. Hoping that there's an evolution in the gameplay loop from the first game in this game, but absolutely, as far as graphics go, Decima is a fantastic engine. This game looks great. Probably going to purchase it and play it. Let me know what you think in the comments section below about the video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
あなたは一人じゃない。